Okay. So before we get started on this week's on episode 19 of Wrestling Hypothesis for the week, I wanted to mention the big tragic story that occurred earlier this week on Monday, revolving around Shad Gaspard, a former WWE superstar of primetime fame alongside JTG. The story goes that he was with his 10-year-old son, Aria, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right, at Venice Beach in Los Angeles, California. And while swimming with his son offshore over there, they were both caught in this huge riptide. And fortunately, the son was rescued and got out of the water safely alongside others and didn't require any hospitalization from it. He was fine. Sadly, the same couldn't be said for Shad, as the tide pretty much swept him out to sea and he pretty much disappeared. Search began to try to find him, and nobody could find Shad, and it seemed like all hope was lost initially. But a body was discovered sometime Wednesday morning over at Venice Pier, around the area where the sea took Shad, and unfortunately to say, the body does, in fact, match the description of Shad Gaspard. You know, just a terrible, terrible situation. In fact, through witnesses, we know that as the tide was coming in on those offshore and the lifeguards were trying to pull everyone out to safety, Shad, the very last thing people heard Shad ever say was that he yelled out for them to save his son first. You know, he left this world a hero, through and through, making sure that his young son would make it out safe and sound before himself. Pro wrestlers and everybody in the wrestling community came out on social media to pay their respects to him and his family, from The Rock to Vince McMahon. And from what I got out of these messages, he was just a caring, loving, and fun person around others. Over the years that after he left the company, you'd never hear bad things about the guy like we probably would for some others. And if nothing else, all of us, and especially his loved ones, got some closure out of this, and nobody was left wondering what happened to him and what his fate was. If there was one thing a lot of us were asking for, it was at least that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this news was so fucking sudden, man. It took the whole wrestling community by surprise. You know, heart, thoughts, condolences goes out to his family and friends, and you know, just everyone in the wrestling community, man. You know, because this one definitely hurts. You know, and just to know that, you know, his last effort was heroic. You know, in a sense, man. That just, you know, breaks your heart, man. You know, if you have any semblance of a heart, you know, feel for his family. And I know Tony Khan and you know, Cody and his wife Brandy have donated to not only help Shad's family, but also contribute to his son's college fund. So that's it's pretty good to see, you know, people, you know, just reaching out and helping the family any way they can. So thoughts and prayers go out to his family.
Yeah, I agree with Kenny. My condolences to the Gaspard family, but not only in the wrestling community, but Shad Gaspard was known in the bodybuilding community as well. I follow multiple trainers all over the world, and he's tight with certain bodybuilding legends like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Hearn, Simona Panda, and many others. And plus, even in the hip hop community, because like, you remember, he used to be a security guard for like famous stars like 50 and Diddy or whoever. So he's on in that aspect. So like, it sucks that like that he passed away, but it was also he died a good hero, to be vigilant and mindful of his son more than himself. And the thing is, like, when he got caught in that riptide, unfortunately, he knew like this was it. So he's like to his last line of defense, told lifeguard to save his son. I just hope his son won't be dramatically traumatized in this, because like it happened at an extremely young age, because he's only 10. He's only 10 years old. And he's never going to forget this date, the day that his father passed away. So like, I hope he has, as he's growing up, he has a clear vision on being successful, on making his dad, or making Shad Gaspard proud. And I hope everyone in that Shad knew, including JTG, who's his best friend, like hopefully everyone's going to be okay. So my condolences to them.
Yeah, I just thought it was just incredibly sad, especially because of the type of person that he was. Like, I mean, it's just such a horrible way for him to really leave this world. I mean, in a sense, it was very heroic of him to like be able to save his son, and that was like his last thing. And it just seemed that, you know, overall as like a person, forgetting his career, like, you know, he was just an amazing he had like an amazing soul. So it really is just so sad whenever you lose someone that has that kind of energy and brings that type of energy. So definitely rest in peace to him.
In the wrestling community, they paid a lot of tributes to Shad Gaspard and his family through this difficult time. Shad Gaspard really put himself in the wrestling industry by the way he was, how he carried himself with his partner JTG, known as Crime Time, in not only WWE but in the independent scene. This man died a hero by having the lifeguards save his son before himself, and the fact that he said those words kind of shows what kind of person he really truly is. He's a really forgiving person, very reliable, and it really sucks that this had to happen to him. So our condolences goes upon to his family, but also how all of us will most definitely will pay tribute to him for the years to come.
As Rich said, the man was a hero. He also did, just to piggyback off Rich, he did graphic novels. He was actually, I don't know if you guys know, for God of War, he was actually the body for Kratos. He was actually the graphic body for Kratos. He did a lot of movies, TV shows. I believe he also saved someone from, I think, a car crash. I do believe. I'm probably wrong. So you saw the word hero in the dictionary, you thought of
Save someone from an armed robbery.
Yeah, armed
Yeah,
robbery.
I thought it was an armed robbery too.
Yeah.
So when you see the word hero, you think of Shad Gaspard, and he'll truly be missed.
Yeah, incredible soul.
Yeah. And I speak for everyone when I say that from everyone here at Wrestling Hypothesis, that we send our condolences, our deepest thoughts and prayers to the Shad, to all his closest friends and loved ones, and anybody who knew him really. So, yeah. And before we get started, there was also another tragic death that resulted just earlier this morning, as it was found that Hana Kimura, a Japanese wrestler from Stardom, only 22 years old, had committed suicide after encountering instances of cyberbullying from over the internet and social media. So that's just something so terrible to hear. Like 22 years old, and the fact that it's so easy to forget that everyone on the internet, the people that you interact with, the people that you see in interactions on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, they're all people at the end of the day. They're just hiding behind a keyboard. They feel like, oh, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm not going to hurt anyone's feelings. It's never taken into account. And no one ever shows accountability for their actions when it comes to social media. And I feel like that's just a huge crime in today's society.
Well, I think people forget that these wrestlers are human. I think that's like a key thing. I know people have displeasure of how said wrestlers be is performing, or how said wrestlers not being pushed, but at the end of the day, they're human. You may be upset at how they're working, but you gotta take what you can take, and just they're human. Like, treat them as a human being, not as an object.
It's really sad at the fact that this had to happen, and for her, she was only 22 years old. Just picture that in your mind. She's only 22, and the fact that she took her own life due to cyberbullying, through all the people that talk stuff about her physically or even virtually through the internet. It's really sad at the fact that she has to go through this. And it's truly sad that she took her own life because of it. And so my condolences is with her family. Hope that they're getting through this difficult time, as well as just that bullying should not happen to anybody, no matter the age or stuff like that, no matter the age, because I used to be bullied when I was little, so I kind of know firsthand about how bullying comes to fruition. So it's really difficult, but for her, it's just truly, truly sad. So our condolences goes to her family, most definitely.
Yeah, bullying is just not cool, and I feel like for anyone to feel like not have an outlet to let out whatever turmoil that they're going to, is definitely a hardship. Also, I wish she had someone that she could have spoke about that with, so she could have gotten the help that she had needed. You never know what kind of mental space people are in, and it's like you shouldn't. I don't know. It's just I feel like it's just people projecting their own insecurities onto others, and that's just never cool. So it really sucks that she had to feel like she had to take that course of action over someone else's insecurities. So I feel, yeah, that's really horrible that it had happened.
Yeah, and if no one else has anything to say, I just want to end off on that by saying she will be missed. Hana Kimura will be definitely missed. I saw a lot of people in the wrestling community pay their respects and tributes to Kimura. So it's just devastating. This past week really hasn't been the best week in terms of for wrestling, just in terms of like the real world implications going on. So they will both be missed. This episode will be in honor and tributes to the loving memory of Shad, Gaspard, and Hana Kimura. This is episode 19 of Wrestling Hypothesis podcast for your Saturday, May 23rd, 2020. Hope you're all doing well, safe and sound. I'm the ABA, of course. Joining me as always is Richard.
Hello, everyone.
Ricardo.
What's up, y'all?
King Kenny.
What's up? How's it going?
The first lady of the show, the lovely Tara.
Hello, beautiful people.
And we also have a special guest for the podcast this week, Lawrence.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah, man. Welcome back, man.
Yeah. Welcome back, Lawrence, as he was with us for, I believe, episode 12 of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to touch on the stuff that we're going to be going over this week with Dynamite and Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Episode 12 sounds so long ago.
It was like one of the only last moments together.
I was like, we're on episode 19. Episode 12 was like, that's seven episodes ago. I'm like, damn.
I don't know. I remember I was dying of something.
Oh man,
you were probably dying of COVID-18.
18.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
18. Yes.
Nah, what you had was some serious shit, man. Yeah, but you survived, man. You survived. You're like a fucking. Who are you? Like, what are you?
Android.
Clearly,
Yeah,
I don't know.
man.
Honestly, I got sick like back to back from January to February. But moving on about from my immune system.
Yeah, as you guys know, this podcast is available to listen to on various different podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Give us a subscribe over on our YouTube channel to make sure that you are up to date for bonus content coming your way. If you're listening via Apple Podcasts, please be sure to give us a star rating as well as some thoughts on what you think of our show. You can like our official page over on Facebook to keep up with the latest updates on the show, as well as leaving us a review on there if you so choose. And lastly, if you haven't done so already, you can check out episodes 1 through 18 using any of the aforementioned platforms, as well as visiting our website, anchor.fm/wrestling-hypothesis. So this episode is going to be a bit interesting in terms of us playing around with the format and the layout of the show. And this will be one of several episodes we'll be doing that moving forward. So first things first, we're going to begin off with the NXT review. So NXT of course took place, as it always does, on Wednesday night from this past week. Show started off with Karrion Kross Still loving Kross and Scarlett's entrance. It's probably my favorite entrance of anyone in wrestling today, honestly. He went up against this bum, Liam Gray. Got literally nothing in terms of offense here. Kross just tossing him around with exploder suplexes. Picks him up for his cross jacket finish, basically the chicken wing submission, and he quickly submits. And Kross and Scarlett were still in the ring when Tommaso Ciampa walks out and introduces himself to Kross and officially welcomes him to NXT. Scarlett actually did help Ciampa get into the ring by holding down the middle rope for him, which I thought was interesting, and he went with it. Continued on by challenging him to a match at TakeOver in Your House, which will be taking place in just a few weeks. And Ciampa walked off to end the segment. You know, it's simple, but I am looking forward to how they will be playing out the storyline over the coming weeks, heading into their one-on-one at TakeOver. And I'm curious to see the quality of matches these two will have, and we can really see what Karrion Kross is capable of.
First of all, let me just start off by saying there's an art to squash matches, okay? With that said,
that was his masterpiece.
Right. With that said, let me just preface my comments by saying this is not going to be the most popular opinion in the wrestling community, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't give a shit about whatever his name is, Mr. Kross.
Kross?
Yeah, I don't care about Mr. Kross, and the reason being that I think he's a little. Okay, look. Granted, we haven't gotten to see what he can, what he's really made of, right? So it'd be harsh for me to judge him based on what he's shown thus far because there's not a huge sample size. Fine. But what I've seen so far is what I'm going to judge him by because it's fair. And when I see, what's his first name? I'm sorry?
Karrion.
Karrion? Okay. Karrion Kross. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's
no, you're right. You're right. Karrion Kross.
I'm just gonna call him Kross. When I see Kross, I think of a word that we like to throw around a lot: overrated. He's supposed to be this new big thing, right? He's supposed to be transcendent. He's supposed to have this cool entrance, which I'm not really a huge fan of either. I just don't see what the pomp and circumstances in Karrion Kross. I'm not sure he deserves it. I don't know that he deserves it. I mean, maybe it's because I don't know about his work from the indies, but usually when a guy from the indie comes, right, it only takes him about one or two matches, squash matches, right, to really solidify his stance, right, and really show what he can do. Karrion Kross hasn't showed me anything. He hasn't really showed me, except for his, flamboyant, entrance. He hasn't really shown me anything. I'm not sold.
You guys know that I don't agree with Kenny a lot, but I agree with him on this one, except about the entrance. I fucked with the entrance, but I agree with Kenny that he's low-key, he's a bit overrated because we haven't seen much of him throughout the weeks that he's been in NXT. Throughout the weeks of NXT, he fought a bunch of bums. He hasn't fought one noticeable NXT athlete in the roster.
But Ricardo, hold up a minute though, because I feel like I need to get this point hammered across. It's not that he's facing bums. I could give
no. I'm talking about jobbers.
Right. I understand that, but that's the order of the nature of things.
Yeah, of course.
You're gonna fight bums your first time around, so that point I get. I have absolutely no problem with him fighting bums, but like I said, think about when we saw the Murder Hawk fight bums. This guy put on a fucking show.
You're saying he's not doing anything that's noticeable for you as far as his moves.
Exactly. He's not memorable. He's not like a guy that I'll remember, his squash match 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. I won't. Because it left nothing. It left me feeling empty. And I wanted to feast. I wanted to eat.
Yeah, I feel you because he was supposed to pretty much be the next big thing in NXT.
Exactly. The anticipation.
He hasn't exactly.
right. The anticipation didn't meet well with the shit that we
With
got.
with
And
the
I felt
early
right.
promos of him coming in and stuff. Yeah, I completely agree with you. We just like, I would say that we would change our minds a little bit later to see what he does, but as of right now, it's a small sample size based on what he could do, especially against a big time player like Tommaso Ciampa. So it remains to be seen. But as of right now, this match isn't as much hype as people sees it to be.
Well, I think how Triple H is going by booking Karrion Kross, my bad. We can't say Killer now. Remember, it's WWE.
God forbid, this is WWE we're talking about.
The thing is, Triple H wants you to watch his old stuff in the Indies and Impact Wrestling because he was a world beater on the Indies. He had that motive. They even kept his gimmick, like the Toll Man. Basically, he's a guy just goes around beating your best people and just being not a monster, just an overall better wrestler, like the better wrestler gimmick. But he's turning it up to like on 11. So I know what he can do, and I know like the matches, it's gonna be a better match. Can he trust me? That match between we all know is gonna be a great match. Let him tell a story. He's a great promo. He's one of the he might be probably the best promo when he starts talking on NXT.
Really?
I'm gonna say he's gonna be the best promo.
I don't know about
hold up
that.
a minute.
Have you seen his YouTube video?
Hold up a minute, though.
I'm being serious.
No, because listen.
I know.
Listen, I'm taking your word for it, right? Because I don't know. You're the expert here, so I'm gonna defer to you. Okay. My question to you: Is he on Cody's level?
Nah, I ain't.
Okay. All right. Okay.
If you know, I am a Cody stan. He ain't Cody. He ain't Cody, but he's a little under Cody, but he's a very good promo.
Are you saying MJF?
Nah, he ain't on that level either.
Well, we're all basing off nothing, unless we're watching these YouTube videos that Lawrence is saying and going back in the archives and seeing his stuff from TNA. We haven't seen that in NXT.
Indie stuff. Watch his YouTube channel and watch how he progressed. Like he's a great storyteller. I would say that he's a great storyteller, and how he shoots the angles on his videos and how he shoots his vignettes. They're very flashy. They're very descriptive, detailed.
Yo, you know what this reminds me of, man? I'm so sorry, but it reminds me of that guy that is all decked out in all the good shit, right? Comes into the game, comes into the workout, comes into the into the scrimmage game with all the right tools. He has the state of the art gear, but he's trash.
Ooh. Damn, Kenny, you're so overly critical of Mr. Crossover.
Kenny, I'm gonna take your word, but
look. The expectations for me was sky high.
What did you want him to do to be? He came in.
I wanted him to be the second coming of
Murder Hawk,
of Finn Balor. That's what I wanted. That's what I expected.
About 5'9", and he's like 6'4".
All right, that's what, no, I'm talking about the Impact or Kevin Owens Impact. That's what I expected. But we got I don't know, like a Kushida type feel, or right, something that was good, but not like, oh my God, this is exactly
my
what
man said.
Kushida. Hey, yo, tell me I'm lying, man.
That's all I can say. Give it time. Let him cut his promo. He's gonna have a promo at Vignette next week. Let him cut his promo. It's almost like Brody Lee. I don't know. When I first heard the match about, I know we're skipping over to AEW, but Brody versus Moxley. I'm like, no, I don't. I didn't think it would work out. But then as time progressed and Brody started talking, just by promos alone, he had all squash matches. Just by promos alone,
that's different.
He got over. I feel in a couple weeks before NXT Takeover in your house, promos alone, you will come to understand Karrion Kross.
All right. Okay. Go ahead, Tara.
Oh, I was gonna say I think that's like a little bit different with the whole Brody Lee. I don't know. It's kind of. I feel like this is like. I want to say Kross's. It's his first name is just it's bothering me. But I want to say this is. I want to say this is Kross's like first time like on a really big platform at WWE. So I mean, I will give it to you because I mean we haven't really seen him utilized too much like since he just came in. So it's kind of. I'm gonna give it time. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna let it marinate and just see what they're planning on doing.
That's all you can really do right now
on NXT for that long. I think this is a quick way to get him over. I think he beats.
Ciampa?
I'm just gonna chuck it up as WWE just falling short. I don't know. That's the best that I could give you for right now, but I guess
he'll be on the main roster at the SummerSlam. To be honest with you, after SummerSlam, maybe, and after Survivor Series, he'll be on the main roster.
That's pretty big faith for a crossover there.
What you think, bro?
Okay. Wait. I have to say something right now. Okay, Lawrence, you're dead wrong. We just have to wait and see what Kross could bring to the table, because we also have to understand it's only been 2 weeks since we've seen him. So we just have to continue on, because I've seen Kross's work, just like Lawrence. I've seen Kross's work before. His promos, on point. In-ring work, on point. And I also agree with Tara. This is the first time that Kross has been on a major wrestling platform since TNA. Like back then it was mostly MLW and the Indies, but you're now on NXT. So my main thing is, what is Kross going to bring to the table that we have not seen yet by the way he is?
That's the main question. I agree with that.
That's literally the main question. What is Kross and Scarlett going to bring to the table that we have not seen yet? That's the main question. And the fact that Kross is his first rivalry is with a main dude on NXT and Tommaso Ciampa goes to show how much Triple H himself is really invested in this individual.
That's also true. Not often do you see someone go straight out the gate to feud with one of the biggest stars.
The last time we've seen an individual go against a top name, if I could be wrong, but it is what it is. The last time that all of us have seen a main top dude that just debuted on his first night to go to a main person was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens.
Yep.
I knew you were going to say that.
Back at Kevin Owens.
And even before that, it was John Cena and Kurt Angle.
Exactly. See, exactly. So this is nothing. So this is like nothing. Yeah. So this is like nothing new that we've seen before. It's just it's been a long time that we've seen it.
Yeah, but here's the difference on this one. Triple H is putting all his cards to the table with this guy. Based on not the epidemic, obviously, but like on the lack of superstardom that NXT currently has right now, right? So the fact that he's pulling all his cards to the table for Kross is like he's betting on himself on Kross. So like he's going out of his way on that one. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. He could be. I wouldn't go so far as to say as to be overly critical with him, but as history has shown us before, maybe that's exactly what we need to do. But I have my. I'm going to give Karrion Kross, I should say, the benefit of the doubt here. We had Roderick Strong against Dexter Lumis. Just to move on here, Dexter's been getting a fair amount of the spotlight lately, and so inserting him into the NXT title storyline. What's up, Kenny?
Can we just move on to the important part of the show, please?
I only bring this up because it was important due to what happened at the end.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. Let's just skip to that.
All right, cool. They had their like I said, Roddy fought Dexter Lumis. They had a pretty good match. Roddy won after getting the roll up in 1, 2, 3 onto Dexter Lumis. Post match, Roddy was outside the ring, happy that he won, when Dexter quickly crawled to him and locked him in his signature choke that he does, and they were on the floor. We then see Adam Cole and Bobby Fish of Undisputed Era walk out and started kicking Dexter to have him let go of the hold. But he was completely unfazed by everything they were throwing on him. That was hilarious, at least for me. At this point, we see Velveteen Dream run down and attack Cole and Fish. He super kicked Cole over the barricade, and he proceeds to go up to the top rope back in the ring and dives off to the outside onto Adam Cole with the purple Rainmaker. Now, this would have looked cool had they had the way they edited this and shot this, especially that landing, not look like complete garbage. If you guys have seen what I'm talking about, you'll know what I mean.
Well, if someone's
pretty terrible
from the top rope like that, you're gonna like break your leg. So I understand the crash pad they used, but the editing was terrible.
Hey, listen, look, you don't want an AEW disaster on your hands. All right.
True.
So I'm all right with that.
All right.
And get this, we're not the ones on that top rope, so
exactly.
I'm not gonna judge.
I have no problem with it. It's just the editing. If they would have done it better, it would have been fine. But it gave the impact. Dexter Lumis still creeps the hell out of me.
Listen, this ain't WrestleMania, man. I ain't expecting this motherfucker to jump off anything.
Yeah.
All right.
We noted.
Yeah. Not surprised they're continuing the feud between Cole and Dream. They haven't made it official yet, but it is pretty much a done deal that we will see a match at TakeOver in a few weeks. I don't know how Dexter Lumis will continue to factor into this other than just helping Dream fend off Undisputed Era, but he's doing a good enough job in that role, I feel.
I would say for Dexter Lumis is that he's the main. We know that Cole and Dream's going to face each other at TakeOver. We know that. But with Dexter Lumis, he's very, to me, like very interesting in this part because he was just thrown in there just for no reason. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what they're going to do with him for this particular match at TakeOver.
I never thought I'd say it. I never thought I'd say this. We are talking about Dexter Lumis.
Exactly.
On this show.
Exactly.
What?
Hold on. I want to back up what Kenny's saying. Who the fuck is this guy?
Dude, guys, the only reason I'm mentioning him is because he is somehow, some way inserted into the NXT title storyline.
Wait. I understand.
You got that.
We get it. I'm not blaming you. The fact of the matter is, this man, I feel you, Kenny. This man, Dexter Lumis, means nothing to us. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right? It was just a squash match against a nigga named Dexter. A nigga named Dexter alone in the WWE. Whose name means nothing. Like, I don't give a damn about Dexter.
Look.
Timothy, you did say that.
We've already wasted too much time talking about Dexter. Okay.
All right, fine.
Now back to the main point. Okay.
All right.
What was the thoughts about Velveteen and Adam Cole? Doing another match?
They'll probably have another match. They'll definitely have another match at TakeOver. It seems like they're continuing the feud.
Having that match, I don't know. It's just me. I'm just not liking the dynamic of Dream and Cole. It doesn't seem big time to me. Maybe it just needs more story. Maybe needs more time. But I just don't see it.
You know what it is.
I think it really needed a crowd. It really needed an audience to play off of with these segments. I feel like that's the missing link here.
Not only that, but guys, think about it for a minute, man. When Velveteen, before he got injured, right? He was on fire. He had a lot of momentum behind him, man. But something just ain't right since he's been back. And I know I'm not the only person that feels that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Something is just not right. Like something is just not gelling with Dream. I don't know what the hell it is. I don't know. He's not bad by any stretch. He's not. He seems to be his same self. I just don't know what it is. You know, but I will point this out. The timing got fucked up when he, you know, got injured. So maybe that could possibly be the thing that played a role into why I feel this way, or why it's not working, or why, you know, Lawrence feels the way he does. But yo, I just don't feel the same as I felt about Velveteen Dream in the past as I do now. It's two different feelings.
I 100% agree with Lawrence, because like, I don't know if the story needs to be longer, but to me, it's long overdue. It's completely long overdue. But I also agree with Kenny in terms of the swagger is different when it comes to Velveteen Dream currently right now. Right, the swag is different, and the feeling, you don't get that type of vibe that you had a little over a month ago when he was still feuding with the Undisputed Era. But when now, it's like, but you know, my honest opinion is like this: when the time comes when he faces Cole for the title, and if he wins, I'm gonna be like, he won.
Yeah, right. It's like it feels like the novelty wore off of Velveteen Dream in NXT at least. I guess sad. It has. I feel like it does have a big part to do with that injury he suffered. He was gone for like a good 5-6 months. It kind of feels like since the injury and he's been gone, people have pretty much overtaken his role in a way. Like we just become more accustomed to the likes of Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic, and you know who else? Exactly. Yeah, like you know all these newer stars that we've come to like. What we've come to expect from NXT now.
He needs to work his way back, man. Climb up that ladder again, you know? Because there are guys that are at the top right now that I think are better than him. And that's not a knock towards Velveteen Dream, man. It's not. It just means that they've gotten better. And he's still at the same level.
Exactly. No progress.
Yeah.
I agree with that, what Kenny said. And I never do that. So, I don't know. It's
big historic moment on episode 19.
Like, I really don't know what it is. I feel like since he's come back, it's kind of like stale bread. It's like you don't really have any interest in, you know, you're not really invested in his character, as like his promos don't cut the same, but it is the same personality. So I don't know what he's missing or what it is that like when he first made his return, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, that's pretty funny. But now it's kind of just like, okay, and what else? So I don't know. It is weird. Like, I don't know what it is, but they need to work on something to make him more relevant. And I wouldn't mind seeing like a climb of him like coming back to the top or something to show like him dominating again. Or it just seems weird that he just comes out of the blue like, I'm back. Unpaused from 5 to 6 months ago. I'm here. Like, it just seems weird. So I don't know.
I would also have to agree with you guys on that one too, because ever since he came back, he hasn't been the same. He's been mostly stale. The last time Velveteen was interesting, in my opinion, was back when he was a heel. So it's been, and also I also agree with Ricardo. It's been going on for way too long. It's matches that happened a long time ago and stuff like that. If they do change the championship to Velveteen, it's going to be stale because obviously no fans, number one. Number two, it's been going on for way too long. 3, way overdue. Yeah,
if anything, if it were up to me, I would honestly just keep the title on Cole because he's doing best of a job as he could right now.
And also, another thing, and me and Ricardo had this conversation. You can make a legitimate argument that Cole and Dream for the NXT title at TakeOver should not even be the main event at TakeOver.
That's what I said.
Okay. But we got to think of what the main event would be.
Exactly. Like what? See, when you make comments like that, okay, you can. No. It's easy to talk about it, but what the hell is your solution? I gotta hear it. We gotta hear it.
It's already been said.
Yeah, like Richard, go ahead. Who do you think should be the main? What do you think should be the main event of TakeOver?
What I think, and Ricardo, and we back to the conversation me and Ricardo had. Out of all the matches that they're building for TakeOver, Charlotte's match has been the most match has been consistently booked week to week, and has been interesting. Number one, Now, only because of Charlotte there, because now Io's in the conversation. Obviously, we all explained just now how this rivalry and Velveteen together has been stale as hell. It's been long overdue. Okay. So why not have Charlotte, Io, and Rhea main event takeover?
That's what yep.
What's wrong with that?
It's not a bad idea.
And, it's not a bad idea at all. I would go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Richard coming through with the solution.
I did think Ciampa said, I don't know, it was in context, but when he had his promo with Kross, I think he did say, welcome to the main event. I don't know if he's a main eventer or, okay, just making sure.
Yeah. No, he did say that. He did say that. But just because he said it doesn't mean it's actually going to be the main event.
Remember, that is the children of Triple H, Ciampa and Gargano. You know, they are the pillars of NXT. But I do agree with Richard. It should be Charlotte, Io, and Rhea.
Yeah.
You see, that's why I trained Richard. I told him that last week. I told him that. Good job, Richard.
Stop acting like you struck upon, an epiphany or something, or a new discovery that will shake the shackles of the wrestling industry. Charlotte in the main event in your house. Wow, what a prediction!
Yes, because I said it.
Wow. Ricardo giving himself too much credit there.
On to the next.
All right.
Yes.
In the main event, we had Io Shirai against Rhea Ripley. This was all action and physical. There were really no come down moments here for me. Rhea hits a superplex on Io for a near fall. Shirai hits a suicide dive to wipe both of them out. At this point, we see Charlotte Flair, the NXT Women's Champion, come out to ringside to watch the action unfold. At one point, Shirai sends Ripley right into Charlotte and takes her down. Back into the ring, Shirai. What happened?
Predictable.
Yeah.
Predictable. Yeah.
WWE for you. Back in the ring, Shirai with a jumping DDT to Rhea for another near fall. Charlotte comes in and big boots Io and spears Rhea into oblivion, takes them both down to end the show this week. Like Kenny said here, I agree. It was a predictable way for them to get to the point of having a triple threat for the title, which has officially been announced to take place at TakeOver in your house, which honestly is shaping up to be a pretty stacked card. As we have Ciampa and Karrion Kross, we have Gargano and Keith Lee for the North American Championship. They haven't officially announced it yet, but that will be coming, I'm assuming. We have Damian Priest against Finn Balor, Velveteen Dream Adam Cole, and Rhea, Io, and Charlotte in a triple threat. I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a stacked card for sure. This is probably going to be. This has the potentials of being one of the best takeovers as per usual. So, no surprises there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, even without the crowd there.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on here. Some miscellaneous WWE news that we've heard over the past week. Thought we would mention it on the show here. Give our thoughts. Give us some quick thoughts about what we have going on. First things first. This came out last Saturday, right after we finished recording episode 18 last week, so we weren't able to talk about it then. But Drew Gulak's contract with WWE quietly expired. And as of now, he is a free agent and isn't shackled at all by the 90-day no-compete clause, meaning he can go pretty much wherever he wants, as much as he can, that is, with all the circumstances right now in the world. So maybe it's not the best time for that right now.
I feel you, Abba, but all I want to say is to Drew Gulak, so long, see you sucker, bon voyage, arrivederci, later loser, goodbye, good riddance, peace out, don't let the door knock.
Damn, Ricardo, what did Drew Gulak do to you, man?
To me,
we're not going to do that here.
No, I'm doing that. Well, to me, Drew Gulak didn't really bring any interest towards me. He didn't really bring, I'm not knocking him as a wrestler. I'm not saying he's trash. But
he was a good mid-carder.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying he's trash. But
was he? Was he a good?
Okay. He was actually okay. He was okay.
I'm thinking about over a lot of people in the main roster.
He was actually okay.
I would. I would too.
But me personally, to me, I'm not saying he's trash, but to me, he never brought a a presence that I see in him in the WWE. I'm like, I think he's in the wrong place, personally.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. First of all, recognize that the king always goes first. That's number one. Before you say anything, the king always goes first. You always look to my place to see if I'm gonna go, and then if I defer to you, I defer to you. That's number one. Number two. I to some degree agree with Ricardo, but here's where you lose me, man. I'm glad that he got released, that Drew Gulak got released, but for different reasons than most of you guys, actually, because they've actually found something that he could be good at, right? Just when he was about to hit his peak, boom, he got released. And that's perfect. You know why? Because if there's anyone in the world that can fuck this up, it's the E. Okay? Yeah. And they were going to fuck him up. Like, he had fuck up written all over him, even though he was great. He had fuck up written all over him. Now, right, with all of that stuff, right, with his release and everything, he can actually go somewhere, right, where now AEW kept a close eye on him, right? They say, hey, listen, the E might be onto something here, but they released him. Let's snatch him up. That to me is the biggest reason why I'm a huge fan of the move, and the E is stupid for releasing him. And AEW is going to get another great prospect with a no-compete clause. Important.
I think we're forgetting here that he was a great trainer. He helped Sheamus come back from his injury. He has trained a lot of the wrestlers. He's always down in the Performance Center. AEW needs that trainer. I think he'd be a great wrestler for them, a great talent for them, but I think he'd be more used for his training purposes to help women's division there, to help any other guys, the younger guys, to help them on. I think he'd be a great pickup for AEW.
I didn't know that.
Agree with that.
That's dope. I didn't even know that.
Exactly. I feel like low key, he backstage, he is a valuable asset to whatever company he's in. Like, he certainly helps the company that he works at more than harms them.
I personally never had any beef with Drew Gulak, and I felt like every match that I've seen, I was okay with it. So, I mean, for me, it's like I don't think he is gonna have a hard time personally finding anything. But I don't know. I personally liked his matches. You guys were. I know that Kenny and Ricardo were kind of just like, and I know Ava, you liked it also. Yeah, you see that? But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
I have no problem with him. He was a great cruiserweight champion.
I liked his in-ring work. I really did. I really enjoyed it, especially on NXT and stuff. Like, I really enjoyed watching it.
With all due respect to Mr. Gulak, but he was never relevant until Daniel Bryan
he wasn't moving the needle.
Picked him up. Now, he was okay in the ring. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's probably as talented as Daniel Bryan.
I think he was.
But from what we've seen from him, right, he didn't really, fit that bill. And maybe it was because of the guys he was in the ring with. But if you can't elevate the guys that you're in the ring with when you're a Daniel Bryan level talent, what does that say about you as a wrestler?
I mean, I can't really agree with that all that much because WWE hasn't given him enough of time in the ring to show to showcase his abilities like they did a Daniel Bryan.
If I can remember correctly, he was cruiserweight champion, no?
Yes. He was.
Okay. So he had time.
No, he had time, and I would say he knocked it out of the park. That was a low key, a very underrated title reign.
Wait,
it's kind of.
But okay, so can you name the best match he had as the Intercontinental title holder? I mean,
cruiserweight.
I'm sorry, cruiserweight title holder.
The match, dude.
What was your favorite match of him?
I mean, the one we had with Leo Rush, where Leo Rush beat him for the title, was pretty good.
Man, that's Leo Rush, man. Anyone can have a good match. Against my 3-year-old niece can have a good match against Leo Rush, man. Stop, bro. You know it's true.
Don't do my man Leo like that.
That's true, man.
Come on,
Leo, no. I'm saying Leo Rush is that lethal.
Yeah,
he's that great. that he can have a match with a 3-year-old and it'd be a fucking great match.
It would. Okay. Now I see you. I see it now.
Right. Like I'm giving respect where respect is due, man. So what else? What else? Go ahead, Abba. Educate me on how great.
He had some good matches with Oni Lorcan, with Tony Nese. Riddle, I remember.
Riddle. Oh yeah, that match with Riddle. I forgot it was on the Evolve show. They were all on Evolve for that one night. It was.
Oh man.
Versus Riddle. That was a good match.
I like how you guys point out the great matches he's had, but there's really no I guess you could say career defining moment for him. Like these matches weren't going to get him, over in any case.
There weren't matches that he will be remembered by.
Right.
Not at all.
He'll be remembered by his strong ass work ethic and his consistency.
But you can say that to anybody.
Maybe
you can, but nobody's been knocking out of the park as consistently as Gulak has in a low key way.
He'll be more remembered not backstage, but behind the scenes with the wrestlers themselves. Maybe not to the public or to like the regular WWE fans, but towards the backstage, the wrestlers and probably the smart marks, he'll be remembered.
And that's why I think he'll always be underrated.
You can, I mean, I feel like it doesn't have to be backstage. Like, I really feel like it could also be like bookings and stuff. Like, I really personally feel he does have a skill set. Like, it's just they haven't found the right character for him or the right persona for him to really act off of. So, I mean, his in-ring ability is definitely there, and that's really what all that matters when it comes to wrestling is in-ring ability. You could be a great talker, but if you don't have in-ring ability, it's not as great. Like it's like a 50-50 in a sense. But I just think they haven't found the right persona. I mean, honestly, like I feel like with cruiserweights, it's kind of like the same thing in general. Like I feel like it doesn't really go. It's very rare that it goes somewhere. Even if you look at Cedric Alexander, I mean, he had potential, but look at where he is now.
He was a great in-ring worker, but also everyone's a great in-ring worker today. Like you can literally go down the list. It's just also girls who are great wrestlers, in-ring workers. Look at Ricochet. They have no character. It's the character. I think Gulak need that character work. He started to get it like with under Vince's 205 Live. He started to get a character, but they just didn't expand on it. So I think the best thing will be for him to do is try to get more character. Try to develop that character. His in-ring work is there. Like everyone's a great in-ring worker today. It's just the character.
Listen, guys, you can't expect The Rock from everyone. Sometimes people need to be mid-carders, and that's okay.
That's it. Someone needs to be mid-card.
Not everyone can be a main eventer.
You cannot expect
listen,
The Rock, John Cena, every single wrestler that walks through.
I'm a huge advocate of those lines that you just mentioned. Yep, not everyone can be great.
Yeah,
it's that simple. Okay, this notion that everyone should have a shot to be, a champion. No, absolutely not.
Everyone deserves to be champion.
Absolutely not.
The other big news that came out this week is regarding Ember Moon and the status of her injury, which is a torn Achilles. She suffered that injury back in the fall last year. That's why we haven't really seen or heard from her in a while now. She was on WWE Backstage this past week, as she has been pretty normally over the past few months now, and revealed that due to her injury, she may never be able to wrestle again. A torn Achilles is pretty serious. Now, what I loved about this was how she got this injury in the first place. It wasn't in the ring. It wasn't during training. It wasn't during the workout. None of that. It was during one of those god-awful 24/7 title-chasing segments we would see on programming pretty often last year, where wrestlers would be chasing the 24/7 title holder backstage, and at one point they started booking the women to partake on that garbage. It was during one of these segments that Ember suffered the injury. Yeah. The fact that you had one of your best female wrestlers on your payroll go down, possibly for good, in the way that she did is unfathomable. And I get it. Freak accidents can happen at any point. It is what it is with freak occurrences there. But I would say, why even put her in that stupid situation to begin with?
I told Rich before, the 24/7 title is useless. It was a terrible idea. I never liked it. And a bunch of our friends are, oh, it's so great, it gives them time. And look what happened. The girl lose her career because of some bullshit. Because of some bullshit that didn't need to happen. Go ahead, Kenny.
I thought it was a good comedy bit, and it goes back to what I said. WWE loves to be comedy.
I never
and even though they suck at it, and I felt like, I mean, it did serve its purpose to some extent. Like, I liked when Maverick was 24/7 champion, because he can pull a great funny bit anytime.
He's a comedy.
But like, I feel like, as far as, like, I never understood why they never pushed Ember Moon. I felt like they push all the wrong female talent, and they just never pushed her. What?
You know why?
Well,
first of all, wait, nothing. First of all,
no, like, honestly, like, I was really rooting for her, because she had like every bit of potential.
But you said, but I feel you. But you said they pushed all the wrong female talent.
No, they pushed the female talent the correct. They pushed who they want to push.
Wait, time out. Hold up. Because I feel overlooked here. Like I said before, the king goes first. Everybody else goes second, third,
and I'm the queen.
Whatever. Okay, right. But the king comes first. All right.
I don't care.
That's number one. Now with that out of the way, Ember Moon, I don't believe for 1 second. I'm gonna let that slide. Anyway, I don't believe for 1 second Ember Moon is done, man. And listen, far be it for me to, say that about her. I mean, she knows her body better than anyone, right? So she would know what her capabilities are. But I just feel like she's got the mental makeup of someone that can get through this injury. I don't believe for 1 second that we've seen the last of her. There's no fucking way that Ember Moon will succumb to the last time we see her chasing after a title that makes absolutely no sense. I just don't think we've seen the last of her. There's no way.
I agree with Kenny. As much as Ember Moon is injury prone as she is, we ain't gonna see the last for her chasing after a title that means nothing, right? I would say, and don't get me wrong, a torn Achilles is a big deal in terms of sports. Because everybody knows how a torn Achilles is. We've seen it in multiple sports like the NFL, NBA, et cetera, et cetera. But I think she's gonna make a comeback. I think that she's just saying that, so possibly, like, you never know, it's her way to possibly get out of WWE, but then leave and go somewhere else. That's what I thought. But, like, we'll see what happens in the long run. All I'm saying is, wish her speedy recovery.
I agree. I don't see it as her last thing, but I definitely think she should have never been there to begin with.
Exactly.
It was her dream, though. Like, she tried before. I think it was.
It was not her dream to be 24/7 champion.
No, to be in the WWE. She tried before that she didn't have the body. They told her she didn't have the body type. She tried again during Triple H's NXT, and she made it. So they didn't have a plan for her when she came up. I believe she went up too early. She went to the main roster way too early. She wasn't ready yet. She should have stayed on NXT for a while, for a little bit longer. But
I'll tend to disagree with that, man, because she lost twice against the great Oscar. I mean, listen.
Had a great feud, honestly, if they played their cards right.
Please, if they played their cards right. you just explained it to yourself why it didn't work.
I know, that's what I said. If they played their cards right, it was it had to put it out there.
Well, I would say Ember Moon, like, if I was her, I would reinvent my whole image in for herself while she's like healing for her torn Achilles, possibly get better in shape once she returns into the ring, which I think is the beauty of it for her, by her not truly get. Because if you really think about it, every time she's been injured, you could say like either she's has been like because of a botch move, or like what you said about the 24/7 title, or she hasn't been in shape. So if she reinvents herself based on this healing process she's gonna go through, like through rehab and all that shit, and she comes back with possibly a new image, which I think she needs in WWE, like you will see a different version of Ember Moon, and she'll be more noticeable and possibly be better in the main roster. So like just change your gimmick, change how you are, get your body right, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, provided she is able to come back.
What do you mean by out of shape? Because they have some out of shape people in the E now, and I don't understand.
No, I'm just talking about her.
Oh.
Is she out of shape?
Is she out of shape?
No, I said there are instances.
I don't like.
No, I said
never
that
thought
there are. I said there are instances because she's due to injury. It's either because she's out of shape, based off a botch move, or shit like this, like 24/7. And I'm saying during the healing process, like get back into shape, finish rehab, and reinvent yourself in WWE.
But you act like, hold up, Ricardo, you act like reinventing yourself is kind of like just fucking drinking orange juice in the morning when you wake up. That's not easy. No, you can't say that, because what we know about the E is that there are levels to this. Not anyone can just go out there and reinvent themselves. It's not going to happen.
No,
if they don't want it for her, if they don't want it for her, there's no way in hell that Vince is going to sign off. It's not happening.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I know because of Vince. I'm just talking about just for her, because like she could bring a different persona, almost like what Bayley did for herself, and see what happens.
No. You're not getting what I'm saying. I'm saying that in order for that to happen, look, when Bayley made that transition, right? You think it was just her? No. Vince had something to do with that too. He had something to do with that too. Now, if you're saying that she should come up with ideas that would make her, much more relevant when she returns, then okay. I'm pretty sure she's coming up with ideas all the time. But to say that, she should just reinvent herself like that, like it's going to happen, that's not going to happen. If Vince doesn't want it, it's not going to happen.
That's the one thing that people usually forget is like WWE is like written down to like the T, like even the matches are scripted, and nothing is like self-creative. It's literally WWE creative. So whatever your character is whatever they give you. And you just gotta make it what it is. Like you gotta be creative with whatever it is. So if they want you to be a clown, you're a clown. You just gotta make it over with the people. That's your job.
Exactly. Facts. And it's just that simple. And that's the story of Ember Moon. It's sad, but it's true.
Exactly. Ember throughout a career, she has to work with what she's got. And that applies to every WWE superstar out there who works for the company. That's whatever they have set for you, you got to go with pretty much. But yeah, this is all predicated on whether or not she needs to do any of this. It's predicated on whether or not she's really able to return and compete again. Like you guys are saying, Ken and Ricardo, that she is going to come back, and this isn't the last we've seen of her. I can swing either way. Like it's because we really don't know a whole lot about the severity of the injury. A torn Achilles, like I said, is nothing to play around with. It's pretty serious stuff. But who knows if she'll be able to make a return one day to the ring. Okay, moving on to AEW. Dynamite from this past week, and this is how we're planning to do it. We're gonna, like I said earlier in the show, we will be playing around with the layout of how we do things moving forward. So we'll be while I'm going over the review to the Go Home show, we're going to be incorporating some of our predictions for Double or Nothing that'll be happening later tonight. We'll see if that really works out. Show started off this week with a shot of a limousine riding into the venue, and out comes the Inner Circle, all 5 greats. The announcer comes up to them asking what they got planned for later tonight, and Jericho says that they have something planned for the Elite later on. And the announcer was asking what they'd be doing. He wanted to get the info out from them. And he got teased by Sammy Guevara and Pride and Powerful, each calling him, I should say, a nincompoop. And Jericho does the same, calls him a nincompoop, and they walk off. They're freaking awesome. What else can I say? First match of the night was Jon Moxley against 10. Brody Lee comes out with the Dark Order faction and the AEW World Title belt that he stole from Jon Moxley 2 weeks ago when they assaulted him. He cuts a promo saying that he will destroy Moxley at tonight's show at Double or Nothing before commanding 10 to kneel properly. He then tells 10 to destroy Moxley before walking off with the rest of the Dark Order. Moxley comes out for the match. 10 was getting dominated early on by John before he hit the big boot on Moxley to the outside. He doesn't last too long dominating this match when Moxley hits the paradigm shift. He then brings him up and hits the Gotch pile driver, which was pretty brutal there. Moxley takes his time with 10 at this point, eventually nailing the elevated paradigm shift, this time for the win. After the match, Moxley gets some chairs from underneath the ring and folds it around 10's left arm and threatens to step on it if Brody Lee does not come back out. And Lee appears on the Titantron and says that in a time like this, there has to be sacrifices. And he made his own sacrifice by letting 10 get dismantled by Moxley, and he walks off with the rest of the Dark Order. And Moxley does just that, hits the chair with another chair to end the segment and to wipe out 10. So since we're talking about this match, it's like I said, we're going to be all over the place with these predictions. So Jon Moxley against Brody Lee for the AEW World Championship later tonight.
Damn. Right, we're swinging for the fences, huh?
Yes, we are.
I'm going, as much as I hate to say this, I am going with Jon Moxley to retain. And not that I don't like Jon Moxley's title reign, but I do feel like it probably would have come to an abrupt end. And for a reign that it's riddled by, the coronavirus and everything like that, it would seem very anticlimactic that a guy like Brody Lee, just fresh off of his E-run, would just come and dismantle a guy like Moxley. That's not who you've spent a better half of a year, developing into your top guy. Like, you just don't do that to your top guy. So I just don't see Moxley losing in that sense. Now, I do feel like they'll do something to protect Brody Lee. I don't think he gets pinned in this match. So I guess Moxley wins by way of DQ.
I was just going to say that, but Ricardo, you go.
No, you could go first. I don't mind.
Okay. I was just about to say, I think it's going to be something like DQ. I don't think it's going to be, a straight out, one-on-one where someone gets pinned. I really think it's just going to be, someone where Brody Lee just fucks with Jon Moxley. But I do see Jon Moxley retaining only because Jon Moxley has been around for a little bit longer. So I think it makes sense for him to retain for probably a few more months, especially because he just got the title relatively recently too. So I feel like they're gonna make him retain for just a little bit longer, and then maybe give Brody Lee a chance. Because the only other person that I see right now is Brody Lee getting that title.
I agree.
Moxley's winning this. I do think 10 is going to interfere somehow in the match. I think that's how the DQ happens, because I don't think 10 is completely out with his arm broken. Either 10 wants to get revenge on Lee for leaving him or something like that of that sort, but I do think Moxley does retain.
I will also have to agree with you on that one. Moxley, I do see retaining. 10 will probably do something in the match, or maybe something else could happen during the match. But I do see Moxley retaining the belt, especially the fact that he just won it just recently in February.
Yeah, all of you guys make good points, and I have to agree with each and every one of you. I think Jon Moxley is going to retain the title here, and I actually looked at it from a few different standpoints, because I don't think anyone really mentioned this, but Brody Lee has been carrying around the physical world title belt after beating down Moxley a few weeks ago. And for me, it's kind of stupid, but I think that was a dead giveaway that he was not going to win the title tonight. because we never really see that, like instances of in a title feud, the contender steals the physical title belt, and they actually win in the end. Like, when do we really see that? The person just really gets their championship back when they win the title match inevitably. I know it's kind of a stupid thing and kind of out there, but that's just how I looked at it.
I mean, I don't view it as stupid, to be honest with you, because like it's bringing interest towards the match even more.
Yeah,
you feel me? I don't view it as stupid. So like, and besides, when was the last time you actually seen a wrestler do that? Like, you haven't seen that in a long time.
History has not been kind to the contender.
Right, and plus the thing is, with Brody Lee stealing Jon Moxley's title, it's validating on how truly hungry he is towards the title, because he needs a redemption based on what's happening in WWE. I mean, what happened to him in WWE. My bad.
Well, to be honest, like what happens? Like, let's explore the alternative. You know, if Brody wins, it'll be like you pretty much saying, yeah. Whenever you leave the E, and if you were famous enough, right, come to AEW, right, you can have your redemption by winning the AEW title. And
yeah, straight out the gate, I agree with that.
Right, that's not a message you want to send your AEW locker room. You don't want to send that to the guys in the back that, you know, anyone from the E that's famous enough can just come here and be world title holder. Like or immediately. After coming be a world title holder, like it's not a good look.
I mean,
it really isn't.
But would you say that that Cody Rhodes and others that signed to WWE, that signed guys from WWE, are insinuating that message just by signing guys that just got released or got fired?
Well, I think there's a reason why you sign those guys. You obviously sign them because, you know, of the name recognition, right? And it gets you, and it beats it beats NXT's ass in the ratings, right? So like you want those guys on your squad. You'd want a guy like you want guys like the Revolt on your side. Right. You want a guy like Drew Gulak on your side, but not to win the world title. You know, it's just because you want to buffer your roster.
Okay.
What's up, Richard? What's going on there?
I just found out something that was very unexpected.
Care to share?
Yeah. So this kind of goes back to the NXT review we did, but Abba didn't say anything.
Go ahead.
So, you know how Matt Riddle has this thing with Timothy Thatcher, right? So I just got a notification saying how Kurt Angle is going to go to NXT to be the referee between Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher in the cage match on Wednesday.
Wait, hold up. How's this news? Why is this?
No,
why are you freaking out over this?
I'd have to agree with Kenny. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what the? My face was saying like, what the?
Never mind, man. Let's go on with AEW, man. Because I just wanted to see what he was going crazy over, and turns out it was pretty much nothing. Anyway, please continue.
I'm sorry. I'll love Richard, but that was just like, I don't know. That was just like unnecessary.
You my nigga, Rich, but I thought you had some monumental news.
No,
and you disappointed me on that one.
Yeah, you're the I gave you a new nickname. You're the no, Richard, because I gave you the newsletter because you're the one that always gets the news first and tells everybody first. But sorry,
they're cheats.
Well, yeah, but Kenny was the one that asked, so I answered him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I did ask.
He did ask.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, he did ask. That's true.
That's it.
All right, let's just continue. Let's just continue. We had MJF against Marko Stunt, just to move on along with the Dynamite review that happened. We knew exactly what the layout of this match would be, given that Marko Stunt was involved, but even still, I was fairly amused by this. MJF toyed around with Marko, kept mocking him for how puny and tiny he is, unfazed by most of his offense that he was throwing at him. Marko finally came back with a pretty nice go around from the top rope and sending MJF into the corner, followed by some drop kicks. In the end, MJF hits a butterfly shoulder breaker and transitioned right into a Fujiwara armbar for the win. He then asked for a mic after the match was over, and Wardlow holds down Marko as MJF tells him he's never been kissed by a girl before, but he can kiss his ring. and he hits Stunt right in the face with the ring and takes him out right before Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus ran down to help Marko. I was just confused as to why they weren't there ringside with him during the match.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what? A guy like Wardlow on the ringside with MJF? Why would you? Maybe see. Here's a solution that I thought in my head, right? And this was good enough for me. The COVID-19 thing. Okay.
Oh,
I know. It's stupid. There were a lot of people at ringside anyway.
I get it.
But I just thought, fuck it, why not? Okay. But here's my thoughts on this this ordeal that transpired. I can talk. We can all sit here and talk about MJF until we're blue in the face. But Marko Stunt, yes, Marko Stunt is. We should give this guy more credit. Really,
Man,
because he's been getting his ass beat, but Marko Stunt, to me, when you throw that word jobber around, I don't associate him in that regard. I don't
either.
I have huge respect for what he brings to the table, and maybe the reason being is because he carries himself in a way that a lot of jobbers don't, and you can I don't know much about Marko Stunt, but from what I've seen with him, with Wardlow, with the Murder Hawk, and now with MJF, man, like his work is second to none, man. Like he would make Spike proud.
Yeah,
He would.
He's a Spike Dudley type. He's very over with the fans. He helps them get that demo region that AEW wants, the 1849 demo region. He's one of those main reasons, and he's been great. He's not a jobber. He's, as you said, Spike Dudley 2.0, and that's good.
Just like Spike, he sells his ass off for his opponents, makes them look like $1 million.
Absolutely.
He's found his role.
Yeah, but this is a nice segue into predicting who will win the match between MJF and Jungle Boy later tonight. For my pick, what was that?
No, go ahead, please. Your pick.
Yeah, it's pretty much MJF. Like, he is, it's a calm down match for MJF if you really do think about it. He went from wrestling and beating Cody at the last pay-per-view event, Revolution, back in February, to facing Jungle Boy here. And this is obviously no disrespect to Jungle Boy. He is pretty good in the ring, and I do enjoy him and his work overall. But I have MJF to win here. It's pretty self-explanatory. They got big plans for him.
I'm about to make the most ridiculous, the most craziest pick that you can possibly make. I'm going out on a limb here. Okay, I'm putting my reputation on the line here, and I am saying that MJF is going to beat Jungle Boy.
Wait, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
I was like,
You played us like a fiddle, huh?
Oh yeah. I knew you guys would like that. Yeah.
Wait. Can you repeat what you just said?
No.
Uh-huh.
No.
My boy.
Wait.
Can you repeat what you just said?
Yeah, I said I'm going to make the big monumental prediction of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm picking Jungle Boy to beat MJF. I'm sorry, MJF. I'm picking MJF to beat Jungle Boy.
Okay, cool. I agree.
Right, but I'm right. I'm making it sound like it's a monumental, but it's not. It's actually pretty obvious. So that was a joke. Anyway,
Yeah.
Rich, please.
I'm picking MJF to win as well. It's kind of self-explanatory. With all due respect to Jungle Boy, I like him, but MJF is winning this.
He ain't no MJF. You can say it. He ain't no MJF.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy really didn't have a promo segment. I think didn't remember his friends were being attacked all for weeks now by MJF and Marko being attacked. He didn't really have a promo segment explaining why or how am I gonna avenge. So all we saw him run to the ring and try to attack MJF and then ran out the ring, but we haven't heard anything from Jungle Boy, so it makes you look like it's gonna be MJF. But I actually think they might do I think they're gonna do a swerve.
Wow.
I think they're gonna do a probably this budding rivalry with MJF and Jungle Boy. MJF beats everyone, but can't beat Jungle Boy. I think Jungle Boy is winning tonight.
Okay.
I think Jungle Boy is winning. I think
Way to go, rest the grain, man.
because it's weird because it's like you didn't have him do a segment.
I mean, on the other hand, why have MJF go undefeated? For what purpose,
Undefeated.
right? Like if there's anything, if anything, this is a trap match for MJF.
Yeah.
So yeah, in some respects, I agree with you,
Mhm.
but from a wrestling, from a business standpoint,
Yeah, he has too
you
much.
can't have your right. You can't. Like how do you explain something like that?
I really can't. I don't. It's
Yeah.
it's a weird feeling,
Right.
but it's
It is.
you know,
I mean, I can't knock your pick because what you're saying makes sense, and I see
It
it
does.
happening. It's not beyond the pale of comprehension that this cannot happen or possibly not happen. But I just feel like MJF is too money right now, man. He's been way out of the public space for too long, and a win at a major pay-per-view would add to his mystique.
or if NGF messes up for himself, maybe he just does something to get DQ, or he actually gets caught with the ring finally gets caught with the ring trying
Right.
to take out Jungle Boy.
Exactly. That's yeah, absolutely.
Terry, I don't think you made a pick. Go ahead.
I think it's gonna be MJF, but only because I know that they're trying to build him up as like a credible champ or going for a title. So I feel like in order for him to get that credibility, they need to continue his streak of being an asshole. So I think he's gonna win being an asshole, but he has to get the win. Otherwise, it's just kind of like no one's gonna care.
Yeah. And if nothing else, I do hope that Jungle Boy does bring out the best of his wrestling ability later tonight in that match, just as a way to make up for the lack of attention and focus on Jungle Boy himself. Because it kind of feels like it's just more of a storyline with him and Marko Stunt, with MJF and Marko Stunt in a way. We also had the two managers of Cody and Lance Archer, Arn Anderson and Jake the Snake Roberts, respectively, in a promo segment in the ring to hype up the former's match at Double or Nothing. I expected nothing short of a great back-and-forth promo battle from these two greats, and I was not disappointed. Jake at one point mentioned that Cody is always hiding behind others, including his brother Dustin, who lost to Archer in the semifinals of this championship tournament. Jake in particular was great here. He's always been considered by a lot of wrestling fans and critics to be one of the greatest of all time on the stick. And it looks like he hasn't lost a beat, or at least much of one, over the years. Arn followed that up by noting how throughout Roberts' career that people were always fearful of the snake he brings to the ring for his matches. And then they had to deal with another snake, referring to Jake himself. Anderson points out that Mike Tyson will be present at ringside during the match at the pay-per-view event and will be presenting the title to the winner of the match. And Jake responds by saying that whatever he throws at Tyson, Archer will get first shot at him, because in his words, Lance could take Tyson down. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Right. Arn brings up the importance that Cody has brought to the wrestling landscape by starting the new promotion, referring to AEW itself. At this point, they almost came to blows, but never did, as multiple referees rushed down to separate the two. Just a great old-school segment. We had to build up the title match at Double or Nothing. These two have always been great talkers, like I said. I love that they didn't go with just having Cody and Archer brawl at this show and saved it instead for the pay-per-view tonight.
Yeah, for me, I mean, this segment was great, but I'm really more interested in the match itself at the pay-per-view tonight. Listen, I think that the one thing that gave it away was the fact that Jake said that Murderhawk wants to take down Tyson, and that point alone makes me believe that the win is going to Cody, man. The win is going to Cody, and how can you explain taking a world title from Cody, right? Having him lose against MJF. There's got to be a payoff at some point, right? Like, he hasn't won the big one. And quite frankly, you can argue that he doesn't need to, but like Arn said, man, this guy needs to prove why he is who he is. And you can't, like, I'm not a firm believer in putting a title on someone that just got there, right? So for me, I feel like Cody has went through all of that bullshit, right? That at some point, at this point, there needs to be a payoff. Like, we need to see Cody actually get his way at some point, because he's been all talk. He can talk, but can he walk the walk, right? And
So,
people don't like.
Yeah. So,
Sorry,
Kenny, what you're saying is that he has had a share of growing pains by this point.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And yeah, it's like, I just don't see how he loses this one. You know, and I get it. Murderhawk is on fire. He's lit. He's great. But yeah, the payoff is to Cody here.
Yeah, I understand why Kenny said that. He brings valid points, but I'm still picking Lance Archer to win this one because he's red hot and stuff like that. Because like he's on a streak that currently can't be stopped. Like he's red hot, and like I don't think they're gonna like try to kill the momentum with Cody winning. So I think they're gonna I think Lance Archer is gonna get the W and earn the title, and I think they need a worthy wrestler to become the TNT World Champion. Not to say Cody isn't worthy, because he is. We know he is. I just think Lance Archer currently right now has an edge because he's been red hot as of late.
Because he's been red hot.
Hold on.
What?
No, please go ahead, Tom.
I'm just saying, don't kill the momentum. I'm just saying, like, in terms of Lance Archer.
I'll get to you in a bit, Ricardo, please.
This is what I'm going to say. So I feel like it's okay for Cody to win now, because I feel like the reason why he wasn't like as big on winning in the first place was because obviously it's his company. So it kind of looks kind of weird for him to kind of just be straight out of the gate, like champions, like holding these belts. So I felt like it is enough time has passed for him to come back and show them why this is his kingdom and his show. That's number one. Number two, Murderhawk has been built up these past few weeks as basically this guy that is unstoppable. So I feel like even if he was to lose tonight, it's not going to take away from who he is. I feel like it's going to like add to like the type of person Cody is, like Cody's strengths. But I don't think it's going to take away from his streak, because he's still hot. Like at the end of the day, he still took down mad wrestlers like as if they're nothing. So like you can't, you know what I mean? Like I don't think AEW is gonna like still make it look like he isn't a viable character or whatever. If anything, it's gonna probably add to another feud with Cody, or like I think Cody's gonna win by just barely making it.
I think okay, the Elite have been doing what they have to do. They did not put the title on themselves. The whole Elite has been putting over younger talent to boost them up. But at this point, it's time for Cody to eat. Cody's hungry. It's time for Cody to eat. It's time for now. The TNT title is not the world title, but it's a title that he can hold around and bring prestige to. And besides, they put a damn snake on Brandy. You put a snake on your wife. Come on now. All this stuff.
Got to be some retribution.
There has to be some retribution. And Cody can take the loss, but I don't know how many more losses Cody can take before he's irrelevant. So he needs this, as you said.
He would never be irrelevant.
This win. Not say he wouldn't, but in the eyes of the fans, he'd be like, you've been losing a lot lately. Yes, he's probably the number one white hot babyface in wrestling today. Number one white hot babyface. I'll say that. Probably one of the fiercest babyfaces today, but he needs this victory, as he says, and it's gonna be Cody. And Lance Archer's getting knocked up by Mike Tyson. This is already being set up. I don't think I don't think Jake Snake Roberts is gonna knock out. I do not want to see Jake Snake take any type of bump. I've been hearing he might be taking a bump. He might be doing a DDT to Arn. they better pan out just to help him up. They better pan that out. So I'm not getting up. But yeah, it's going to be Cody winning and Lance getting knocked out by Mike Tyson.
For me, Cody definitely has to win this. No ifs, ands, or buts, because he's been losing like all the big time pay-per-view matches from like All Gear. No, I said All Gear. Full Gear, All Out, and stuff like that. Like, he needs a win in his belt, because we've already seen like Omega and Paige got titles and stuff like that. Kenny's been in the main event picture a while ago and stuff like that. Cody definitely needs the W here. And plus, if Lance Archer does lose this, it's not going to hurt him in the long run, because he will mostly be pushed way more into this year. So the person that definitely needs to win this the most is definitely Cody. And I also agree with Lawrence. Once he does win, he will definitely bring much more prestige into the belt. And plus, we're going to find out the first challenger to the TNT Championship in about 2 weeks, because they did announce they will have a number one contender battle royal to see who will be the first challenger.
Yeah.
So I just want to say I just want to say one thing. Yeah, Cody, right? Ricardo, understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
With this whole thing about Cody. When I say there's got to be a payoff at some point, prestige also plays a role into that as well, right? And like Lawrence touched on, right, there is nothing that Murder Hawk can do. Nothing. If he wins the TNT title, his reign will never be as good as Cody's. There's nothing that, like, Murder Hawk he's a beast. He's great and all, but outside of that, what does he have to offer? Think about it for a minute. Is he dynamic? Is he somebody that the fans can get behind?
Well, we haven't really seen much of Murder Hawk just because he's in a rivalry with Cody.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. How many matches does Murder Hawk have to have in order for her to really actually see him? This is Murder Hawk. That is Murder Hawk. What you're seeing is Murder Hawk. He's a fucking beast.
Well, what I think is the reason why he shouldn't be champion just so far is because this is a new title, and I feel like you still need to make it relevant. And I think what you're trying to say, Kenny, is that he doesn't have that kind of he doesn't have that presence to make it as relevant as like a dominant title in the show. And I feel like the only person that can do that is Cody. Like Chris Jericho held it off for their main title.
Exactly.
But I want to ask you guys a question. Would you, because Jake Roberts is there as his mouthpiece, would you say that, like, with Jake Roberts could possibly, like, elevate the title? Not
right.
Somewhat.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Kind of like Paul Heyman type. Right.
Yeah.
Here's what's wrong with that. Right. You can't have a dominant champion if the champion itself, the championship itself, carries zero prestige. Okay? You can't. Because there needs to be somebody that holds that title first that's like, okay, all right, the titles mean something now. Like, not a lot of people know who, Murder Hawk was, right? But maybe most AEW fans knew who he was. But, I mean, he wasn't mainstream. Not like Cody was. Cody is mainstream. Not only that, he's good at what he does. Like, that's the best of both worlds right there. And then you can have him lose to a guy like Murder Hawk after he holds the title. Because if Cody has it, that title's the shit. If Murder Hawk has it, wait, who's Murder Hawk? There's still some people chirping in the back, in the back room. Who's Murder Hawk? Who is he? Why does he have that title?
It just needs to be relevant. It's the same reason why MJF can't get the championship belt. There needs to be like statements saying that this is what makes you a top guy, and this is why this is where you need to be in order to get that.
Okay, guys. Kenny, You got me. I was all set to, for my prediction for this match, I was all set to pick Lance Archer, but you made some valid points, and I'm going to have to agree with that. Everything you said. I think Cody's going to win. Because I just really feel that if nothing else, he needs his shot of redemption for all the growing pains, like you said, that he's been enduring since pretty much the inception of AEW. You know, losing to Jericho for the title, pretty much not getting another title shot for the world title, that is, and losing to MJF in their feud. He needs some redemption, much needed too, in order to keep himself relevant.
Honestly, Cody probably has more fans in AEW than any other superstar on the roster. Like, his fans deserve it. His fans deserve that payoff too, man.
I agree.
They've seen him, and you took 10 lashes on national TV, bro. You took 10, no. You got your ass beat by a grown-ass man on TV, man. No, you got to show me what the fuck you did all that for. Because all that stuff that you did in the past is why you're where you are now. And I need to see some gold for that. Like, I need to see all the shit you put yourself through. Where's the payout? What was it for? What the fuck were you doing that for? What did you put yourself through that for? And if he loses again, it'd be like, oh, come on, man. Like, now you're just being a fucking prick.
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, there's no happy ending to this fucked up story? No.
Just keeping along with the Dynamite review, somewhat surprisingly, we then see a vignette of Pac, who we haven't seen or heard from at all since the outbreak began a few months back, due to the fact that he lives over in the UK and international travel is banned at the moment. He was inside his home, I presume, laying it in on Orange Cassidy, everyone's favorite character in all of wrestling right now, and says that Phoenix will put the hurt on him that night. And speaking of, we get the following match: Orange Cassidy against Rey Fenix. A great sequence they had at the beginning, with Cassidy having his hands in his pockets the whole time, mind you. Phoenix hits a double foot stomp right on Cassidy's head to take control. He then springboards from the outside to inside the ring and nails a huge leg drop for a near fall. Cassidy comes back with a Superman punch after rebounding off the ropes. It's a beautiful tilt-a-whirl DDT onto Phoenix. They fight on the top rope. Cassidy pushes Rey off the corner and hits the jumping DDT for a close near fall. We then see Kip Sabian, who is going to be part of the Casino ladder match later on tonight, including Cassidy, I should say, but now we've since found out that Rey Fenix will not be a part of the match due to the injury he suffered off that dive where nobody caught him. But I will get to that. He comes out to ringside with the ladder, sets it up, and proceeds to climb on it to watch the action. Cassidy was distracted by this, and this allowed Phoenix to pick up the win after nailing a low blow, followed by a roll-through into a cutter. Post-match was just crazy here. We had SCU come out and push the ladder into the direction of the ring, and Sabian just fell into the ring and splatted. We then had a brawl also involving Jimmy Havoc helping Kip out against Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. They were all on the outside, and that spot I mentioned, well, Phoenix goes for a huge crossbody onto all of them, and guess what? He didn't connect with a single person on the outside. His hip practically bounced off the floor with the full-on impact that he made. And everyone collapsed as if he did connect with all of them. Ridiculous spot. We see Colt Cabana get involved by running in and hitting a moonsault to everyone outside that actually did connect. Finally, we see Best Friends help out Orange Cassidy with his own big dive to the outside onto everybody to end the segment. You know, it was a way to build up all the craziness that we will definitely be getting in that ladder match later tonight, and I thought that they did an adequate job doing that. Now, getting to our thoughts on the Casino ladder match later on tonight, it'll be Darby Allin against Colt Cabana, against Orange Cassidy, against Scorpio Sky, against Kip Sabian, against Frankie Kazarian, against Luchasaurus, against Joey Janela, who was the official replacement for Phoenix in this match, and a final mystery participant. And this ladder match will determine the winner will get a future AEW World Championship match. This match will definitely be all over the place. It will be crazy given the participants involved. You have high flyers like Darby Allin and Kip Sabian that will guarantee to be some of the standouts here. But, you know, I would keep my eye on Luchasaurus. I'm sure he will be going all out in this ladder match as well. All I'm saying here is this can't disappoint. Now, we have two things to predict for this match. who will be the mystery final participant, and who is actually winning this match?
Just hold for 1 second. It's about the spot. Basically, how they're doing the spot, it was to protect Rey Fenix from the guardrail, because that is probably the way you don't want him at. And
Right.
on how I feel, how I look at it, I think it was Rey Fenix's fault a little, because when he did that turn, he just went up and straight down.
He fell short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was supposed to go over, and they were guarding the guardrail, and so he wouldn't get hurt. Like, that's the worst thing. You landing your head, your neck, or your leg on the guardrail, like Orange did. Orange is okay, but yeah, the guard was probably the most important thing. It was just a little it happens in wrestling. It's miscommunication.
It's a tricky thing.
He did
to
walk
work
off
around.
from it, but I think they kept him out because I think Rey Fenix almost tore his leg and he wrestled the next day. He tried to wrestle, and I think it's for precautions. He was probably okay, but they took him off for precautions.
Yeah.
Yo, Rey Fenix is a beast, man.
He is.
My God. Like, if he was in this match, he was my pick to actually win this match. But since he's not in there, I have to go with Darby Allin. And kind of like Cody. It's kind of like Cody. Like, Darby already had his shot at the world title. But I think in a sense, it's really important to point out that no one in this match actually has great cachet as much as Darby Allin does. He's the fan favorite in this one, and I'm gonna pick him. I'm gonna ride his coattails.
I agree with Kenny. My choice is also Darby Allin, but I'm not sleeping on the mystery opponent. Depending on the mystery opponent could change everything on our choices. But, like, I agree with Kenny based on that. If you take out Darby Allin, nobody has, like, cachet or a legitimate reason of why they need to win more than Darby Allin. Like, Darby Allin fought, it was Jericho when he fought for the AEW World title, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the fact that, and it was not that bad. He actually came low key pretty close. But, like, for Darby Allin, I think, like, he needs that push for him to win the AEW World title someday. So I'm picking him to win, unless the mystery final contestant for the title changes our whole pick. So as of right now, it's Darby Allin.
Well, let me ask Ricardo, who do you think is going to be the final participant? If
Well,
you were to guess.
To be honest with you, I don't know. Because I can't really say a legitimate answer because, like, I'm not really sure on who the final person will be. Because, like, the thing is, what Cody and AEW has done is that, like, they kept that shit on the down low. Because we don't know jack shit about the final mystery opponent. It could be someone that he possibly just signed, or someone that we
just
all
got
know.
released.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who
Just got released. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going out on a limb right now, and I'm
I don't know,
saying for my release guy, I'm sorry, for my last guy in the match, I'm saying it's Drew Gulak.
Who knows?
You know what?
Listen, I'm not gonna think about this too much. He's the latest guy to get released. He has he doesn't have a no complete cause on his contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't know.
He's also the safest pick. I usually don't do safe when it comes to predicting, but he's the safest pick. So I'm just gonna go with him.
I agree with Kenny.
Okay.
For me, my winner is actually, I'm gonna go with Colt Cabana. Because
Really?
let me tell you the reason why I picked everyone picked Darby this. I'm going Colt Cabana. He is the seasoned vet. I think with Darby, it's not saying it's too soon, but it's too easy of a pick. And AEW, they're not going to go with the easiest pick. And Darby will get his match with Moxley, but I think it's going to be Colt Cabana. He can easily have that and bring prestige. Bring not prestige, but bring enough credibility to the match like that.
Bro, who the fuck wants to see Colt Cabana versus
I'm
John
just
Moxley?
saying,
Like,
he's
who signed up for that?
Or you could have because he's a seasoned vet. He could also have a story just like Frankie Kazarian. If Frankie Kazarian wins, like, oh, this is maybe my last shot of winning the title. With all due respect to Frankie Kazarian or Scorpio Sky, right? Yeah.
You don't like, this is a match that you bet on the future of AEW with. You do not put that Casino Battle Royal winner, right, in an aging veteran's hands. You don't. You can't. There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
At the very least, you shouldn't this soon into their career, into the inception of AEW.
Darby until fans come back. You could, it may be you probably wait for Darby's chance.
Honestly speaking, the one guy that I wanted to enter into this battle royale was MJF. That. It's so easy to book. Like, you put him in there, you don't have to make him do shit. Just reach for the fucking, whatever they have at the top of the ladder.
But my person that I think the mystery participant, I think forgetting about a guy. He has been injured. I think a couple months ago they said he signed with AEW, but he didn't. I'm going Brian Cage. Brian Cage comes in, debut for Brian Cage. Everyone's saying Drew Gulak. He did have a signing.
That's an interesting pick.
Yeah, but his wife said, "Oh, he did. He didn't." He did have a shoulder injury as soon as he left Impact Wrestling. So, and he's a guy that he's a 300-pound luchador that with crazy muscle. So, and a lot of fans do like him. He has enough fanfare, and he could be the mystery opponent. All right.
Richard or Tara?
Well, I was thinking Brian Cage might be the mystery person also, but I mean, Drew Gulak is like a good pick, but I don't know if it'll be like too soon. I don't know. I feel like that's something that would have to be in the works. So
well,
it is a toss-up.
He's not gonna win.
No, I don't think he's gonna be. No, I'm not saying that's my winner. I'm saying for as far as the win, I still think I would agree with you as far as I think it should be Darby. Out of all the names, Darby is the one that kind of needs some kind of a storyline going for him. Like, Orange has things going. Like I feel like he needs it just to kind of still stay relevant. So I would say Darby is my pick as well. It's not an obvious pick, only because I'm thinking that they're putting in this mystery person to just kind of throw people off.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like, as for me, I'm also picking Darby Allin because to me, he needs this one the most out of everyone. As for the mystery opponent, it could be, like you guys said, it could be Drew Gulak, it could be Brian Cage, or hell, it could be a whole brand new person that we've never heard before, and he's nice and we don't know. Like, just like Ricardo said, they put everything under the rug and they surprise us with crazy shit. So,
well, Pac might have been able to come back to America, so there is that.
Wait, who?
Pac.
Oh, it could be Pac, because it could be Pac. Like I said, who knows? But for my pick,
go ahead, bro.
For my pick, I would have to say Darby Allin.
I disagree about Pac because he was shown this past week before Double or Nothing, and that's for him. It's too little, too late, because they did a small promo about him, and we have her.
It's not exactly a mystery, is it?
It's not a mystery.
To join, right?
Well, I could
Pac, exactly.
No, Ricardo, I get what you're saying, Rick. But I actually do kind of see what Richard's saying in the sense that before we saw that promo segment and they aired it this past week, that they were kind of going in that direction. Nobody was expecting it. It could have been still a shock. But after we saw that segment air,
but why reveal Pac?
But why?
That's true. I'm not saying he's not my pick.
It
I don't see that happening.
The whole concept of having a surprise entry.
Exactly.
I agree with
make
that.
No sense. That's a WWE move.
Exactly. And
I'll give you
besides,
that.
and honestly, if Pac was in the match, I would have changed my pick to Pac. I would have changed my
Yep.
I would have changed my pick to
It'd be
Pac
crazy
if
now.
he was in the match. And to be honest with you, like you could say it was a mistake not to add Pac in that match because besides Darby Allin, who needs it more than Pac?
I think they should have like subbed out.
And Pac is nice.
I think they should have subbed out Rey Fenix with Pac.
Yeah.
Instead of Joey Janela.
The person they
I think it's just the timing of it all.
Trash, man.
But I also, like what you said, I think it's timing, but I also think they already obviously picked out who their champ is going to be, and it just made sense to like add in someone like Joey Janela because whoever the mystery person is not going to win.
Yeah.
I do feel like Joey Janela will surprise a lot of people, though. He is
I don't like Joey Janela.
He's a hardcore legend. This is his match. This is his type of match. He'll feel right at home.
I agree with that. I think Joey will be right at home with this match. Now, go ahead.
I'm sorry, bro, but like, in terms of Darby Allin, like, the reason why I pick him is because when I look at Darby Allin, I can see him fit against most AEW World Champions, like a Jon Moxley. In terms of the story, I could fit him with a Jon Moxley, a Brody Lee, or obviously hypothetical purposes. Let's say MJF was champion, I could put Darby Allin as the underdog for each person, whoever's world champion, and that's how I pick him, for him to fit into almost any champion. And it's just like what Kenny said, to this match will predict on who's the future of AEW, and that's why me and Kenny's on the same boat here. That's why Darby Allin is the main person to win the ladder match. But like I also said, if Pac was in there, he fits the same category.
Unquestionably.
The two men that fits the same category, and I low-key blame Cody, unfortunately, to not put Pac in there, because that's a diamond in the rough right there. But
nah. He ain't a diamond in the rough. He is a diamond. Like he's already. Yeah, he's established.
Right.
We know about him.
You're right.
Yeah, and as for my pick on who will be the final participants, Lawrence, right on the money. I was thinking the exact same thing coming into the show. I think it will be Brian Cage. And because if you really think about it, a few months ago, he was all set to sign a contract with AEW. Injury got in the way, so that didn't happen. It didn't come to fruition. I'm sure he's all healed up by now, and they might have quietly signed him very recently. So that's who I think will be the mystery person, and I have Darby Allin to win this match and get himself a future world title match. Now, going back to Dynamite from this past week, we had Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander against Britt Baker and the champion Nyla Rose in a tag team match. Shida and Statlander attacked the two before the match began. This was after Nyla attempted to whack Shida again with the candlestick, just like last week. Match began after Nyla quickly took control and dominated against Statlander, beating her down. Eventually tags in Shida for the hot tag. She dominates against the two heels. So Britt Baker suffered a knee injury, apparently, sometime in this match that came after Nyla landed hard on her knee. She was tended to at ringside and didn't get involved in the action at all from then on. After the show, it was reported that it was indeed a legitimate injury, so we don't know. Well, actually, we do know by this point that she is not ready to compete for a match against Chris Statlander tonight, so that match is off the table.
She got a torn ACL.
Yeah,
actually, the match is still going on, but it's Penelope.
Oh, it is.
Penelope Ford.
Yeah, Ford. It's facing Statlander.
Oh, hey, listen, I like Penelope Ford. I think she's a little bit green, but I think she can do some stuff.
You're saying she could replace Chris Statlander in the match tonight? She should replace Britt Baker.
She's not. I mean, she's not in the same level as Britt Baker.
But she can hold her own.
Right, but I feel like she can do something that's entertaining enough for the fans to be like, okay, I'll take that as a consolation prize for not having Britt Baker on the show. Now, with that said, Britt Baker, man, like the only person that I really want to talk about in this is Britt Baker because obviously we all know how great she is as a competitor and you know, as a full time as a full time as a full time. Yeah, I just yeah, I know. But anyway, she's great as a I'm pretty sure she's a great dentist as well. It just sucks, man. It just sucks because ACL injury, man, you're out for 9, 12 months, man. Like it's a long time. It's a really long time. And I just don't feel like this is not good. Especially for a women's division that's been lackluster over the years. I mean, we can look at this women's division and say that it's probably the worst, right? And not to knock them, right? Because there are lots of talented women's division, but this is the worst women's division we've had. And a hit to someone like losing like if you lose Britt Baker and she's part of that squad, it's not a good sign at all. It's not.
Yeah, Britt Baker, it's a loss. It's a big loss because like what Britt Baker had, other than the other females in the roster, was that like she brought that presence into the ring, right? She brought that assertive presence into the ring that nobody else would bring into the table.
She has a name.
Well, I said Britt Baker.
I know. No. I said no. It's because she's the only one.
She has a name. That's what she means.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, yeah, she has a name, and she brought in different accolades that nobody else brought into the game. Like Kenny said, she's a doctor and a wrestler, so you're dope in that aspect. But like, you got a torn ACL. She's out for the rest of the year, unfortunately. And like, you know, it sucks. And like, more power to her. I hope she has a speedy recovery, hopefully. And Adam Cole better treat her nice and shit like that. But like, you know, I wish her a speedy recovery and stuff like that. But it sucks for Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really think it sucks only because you know how much I love her. I was really looking for like her to really do her thing and just like kind of evolve throughout this year. So it kind of sucks that she's kind of on the backseat. But I also think like regarding this match, I think it's just like I low-key feel like this match is kind of placed in there because like Chris Statlander, whatever, I hate her last name. Needs a redemption from February.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
That match was awful. And I feel like that was placed in there just to kind of be like, well, I mean, she's not that bad of a person or that bad of a pick. So I feel like if she does not show out tonight, she loses all credibility. Like every single, like she does not even deserve a chance. Like she's all the way at the bottom of the food chain. Doesn't matter.
Well, I got a prediction for you. I think she's gonna stink up the joint.
I'm telling you, if she does not do something that's like redeems herself from literally February because it's not even a title match, she's at the bottom. Like there is like no use for her.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
It has nothing to do with her winning. It has everything to do with her in-ring ability and
just
to show
perform. Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know what we saw in February. That was a hot mess.
Yeah.
With the women's division, it's been based around those 4 women: Statlander, Baker, Shida, and Nyla Rose. We haven't seen the other women. I won't say, like, yeah, they are probably the worst women's division, and not in wrestling, but probably in America wrestling, yeah. But I think because a lot of them only been out of or been wrestling like 2 or 3 years, so they're very young core. Yeah, you do have Shida, who's probably the most talented. She's the most talented on the roster. And then you do have Nyla, who is the monster, but I don't know how long she's been wrestling. But like a Britt Baker, Chris Statlander, they've been wrestling for less than 5 years. A lot of them, they have a lot of new talent. I just think they didn't have the whole roster together. They do need a couple more signings. I think I don't know who you signed from, a veteran. I would say look to like a Melina Like, sign a veteran who could literally teach these girls how to
That's
wrestle
what they need.
on the big
I agree
stage.
with that.
And I know who was from Impact Wrestling. She's the current world champion.
Oh, Tessa Blanchard.
They said Tessa's contract's up in the summer. You have to.
I think Tessa would be a huge get
You have
for
to.
any wrestling promotion,
They
even more so for AEW.
They ain't gonna sign her.
You have to
There's
get
no
her.
way. There's no way she's leaving.
You have to. They can't. Like, Khan has to open up the checkbook. Khan has to open. You're a billionaire. Open up the damn checkbook. She might be the biggest signing. You may overpay her. You have to get her. Like, she'll be a pinnacle of your division, and she'll help it out. But to see who's winning, I'm gonna go Chris Statlander. I just don't want a sloppy match. Like, there've been some sloppy matches. I think the tag match was sloppy. There was a reason for it. Reasons for it. The Fatal 4-Way was sloppy. It had big spots. I do think they're trying too hard. Like,
That's what I think too.
They just need to slow it down. I think they're doing too much. You saw so many head moves. Like, I don't know how many times Christian landed on her head in the last 2 matches. They had the Fatal 4-Way in this match. Before, like, she almost got killed 2 weeks ago. So they just need to slow down. I think that's it. I think they'll do fine. Britt Baker's a loss. I think she was probably one of the best characters on AEW itself, one of the better characters. So I don't know how you replace, or they just got to come together and try to replace it. I think they need a better person booking the women. I know Kenny Omega said he's the one that's booking it. He's doing his best, but I think they need to go out and get someone who knows how to do just a little bit better. I think like a Fit Finley, I don't know if he's available because he did get furloughed. He's not fired from the E, but get him because he's one of the reasons the women were booked decently on the main roster. Get him.
The timing of
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Richard.
The timing of Britt Baker's injury is really, really bad because she, in terms of their rankings, because since AEW does that, their rankings report thing, Britt Baker was top 3. And, like, they said, I remember them saying if the match did happen, if she wasn't injured, if she won against Statlander in her match, she would have moved up to the number 1 ranking, which would have made her the number 1 contender. And with this injury, it changes everything. And plus, since she has an ACL, she's pretty much out for the rest of the year. So it's really bad timing that the injury had to come this far, especially how they were going to make Britt Baker a top female in this company. So it just really sucks at the fact that this injury came at a worse time for her. Just hope that she comes back sooner or later. But in terms of AEW's women's division, I do agree with all of you. It's been stale. It's been stagnant from the very beginning. They don't have that one top female, not even Nyla Rose, but they don't have that one top female that they have that puts us, the fans, our eyes towards that one particular female. So I do agree that they should sign a veteran talent or another female talent that is much more well known in the wrestling industry. If she wasn't an Impact, Tessa Blanchard, but it is what it is. It just sucks that this injury had to come to her like at this very moment.
Yeah, I agree. But just not to deviate too far off, I didn't really finish the match yet. Just to end it here. Finish came when Nyla Rose pinned Hikaru Shida after nailing the Beast Bomb. I wasn't a fan of that, honestly, pinning your number 1 contender so soon before your pay-per-view match for the title. I wouldn't have went with that, but I guess we got to trust AEW in the process, right? We then see Rose bring in a table to the ring and drag Shida to the top rope for a powerbomb through the table, but Statlander came to the rescue and prevented Nyla from doing that. And she helped Shida put Nyla through the table via a superplex in anticipation for their championship match tonight. From the way they went about things here, it's looking more and more obvious that Nyla is walking out of the pay-per-view still the champion. And I really don't get why they had to pin Hikaru here. It really didn't help her case for being the number 1 contender in a way. Oh, who do you guys have winning the match?
Chris Statlander.
Oh, we're talking about the women's title match.
My bad. Nyla's gonna retain. She's gonna retain.
Nyla Rose, retain.
Nyla Rose, retaining.
If you don't pick Nyla Rose, then you're an idiot.
I go with the other person. No, I choose Nyla only because there is no one yet that is big enough to take that title off of her. The only other person that I saw it happening with was Britt, and that's out of the cards. And until they find someone with as much presence or as much skill, they need to kind of keep it on her for now, because she's the only thing kind of keeping that title relevant.
Yeah. In the main event of the show, we had Matt Hardy against Sammy Guevara to close out the show. Can I just say how great Sammy is? I know we mention this pretty often on the show, but Sammy Guevara is one of my favorites to watch right now. So while waiting for Matt to come out, Sammy had these big cue cards with him, and we see a shot of him telling us with these cue cards that because he got injured by Omega and Hardy a few weeks back, he couldn't make love anymore, and that he was a sex god. Damn it. You know, that was just amusing. He's awesome. He is pure awesomeness. Matt comes out and they have the match. There was one spot where they were both on the outside and Hardy holds him by the ring post and he starts to force his eyes open, and Guevara was just squirming throughout. That was pretty hilarious. Back in the ring, Hardy hits the twist of fate, but Sammy catches himself with his arms via a handstand, and Sammy nails a super kick to the back of Matt's head. That was a great spot. Very impressive there. Sammy hits a nice corkscrew plunge on the outside to Matt, drives Matt to the ring post a few times as retaliation for earlier. Hardy does a comeback, hits the side effect for a near fall. Matt hits the twist of fate successfully this time, but Sammy rolls out of the ring immediately. Sammy brings Matt down and was going for a shooting star press, but Matt sidesteps and hits another twist of fate. Sammy with a great sell like he always does, and he kicks out. Matt starts to grow all bizarre, takes off Sammy's left shoe, starts biting on it. Sammy hits a knee strike to take him down, does a great springboard cutter for another great near fall, goes for another attempt at the shooting star press, but Matt counters again and hits a third twist of fate, and this time he gets the win. Post-match, they show the rest of the Inner Circle on the Titantron beating down Kenny Omega at the same stadium where they'll be having their Stadium Stampede match later tonight. There was some audio issues at first, honestly, because we see Jericho saying something, but we couldn't hear him, but that was eventually resolved. He hits Omega with Floyd, his baseball bat that he gave an official name last week. And then we see the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, on top of a platform, and they dive onto both Santana and Ortiz. They beat down the rest with a steel chair, but Inner Circle started to pick up the momentum and started to beat them down. When we see from the distance, running towards the brawl, Adam Hangman Page, who we really haven't seen on Dynamite since the quarantine began. He eventually got to them, hits a clothesline to Hager, and many are calling it the longest clothesline ever in pro wrestling. I would have to agree with that. I don't think I've ever seen a longer clothesline. Matt Hardy eventually gets to them and helps the Elite fight fend off Inner Circle. And we then see Hangman Page slowly walk off as if he was reluctant to help Elite out there. And as he walks away, all of them hit their signature poses to end the show.
Yeah, I mean, this one said exactly what he needed to say, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of who wins this match at the pay-per-view tonight, I know the Elite got the upper hand, so which means that, you know, Jericho and the Inner Circle may get one over on them tonight. But I'm still picking the Elite. I'm still picking the Elite for the reasons that I think we all know. One, for starters, no Adam Hangman Page for months. He just came back. That's number one. And two, Nick and Matt Jackson just returned as well. So for those reasons alone, I'm picking the Elite to win this one.
I got the Inner Circle winning because of Hangman Page. I have a feeling that because of his return, he might bring in his heel persona that we've all been waiting for into the mix, and that, because I think that might happen. I think that's why I think the Inner Circle might get the W, And yeah, because of that, I think that's why Inner Circle is going to get the W, despite the young Bucks returning and Hangman Page returning.
I'm going with the Elite because of reasons stated before. They've been dormant for too long. They need the W, all of them. They're the Elite for a reason. So, like, I feel like they need to show them why they're, like, who they're messing with. Also because Hangman, Nick, and Matt Jackson, and keep in mind, this is Matt Hardy's first pay-per-view. It only makes sense for them to get the W and put themselves over because they need to still be like, we're the top guys here still.
I will have to agree with Tara on this one. The Elite needs this more. Like we haven't seen the Elite together in a very, very long time. This is Matt Hardy's first pay-per-view. This match will also, in my opinion, which most definitely be the match of the night. But you could also say the same thing about the Inner Circle because Hangman Page in this match plays a huge role into this. Will he be subpar with the Elite, or will he actually turn heel and help out the Inner Circle to win? So this is pretty much a 50-50 thing, so anything can go. But if I have to pick, I would definitely pick the Elite to win.
I'm going to go the Inner Circle because, remember you guys said the Elite haven't seen each other in months. I think that's going to be one of the main reasons they haven't been together. They may have not say they lost the chemistry, but the chemistry might not be there at the time. Matt Jackson did break his rib, so that's going to be a factor into the match. He did hurt his rib. Also with Hangman Page, you don't know his mindset. It's a continuation. I don't think Hangman's going to turn, but I think he's going to cost him. For some reason, maybe a miscue or something, but I think he's going to be the reason why they lose. So
because like I'm gonna use like low key of a Batman reference. He's like Hangman Page, based on the Elite. He's the Red Hood he's the Red Hood of the group. Like his unpredictability factor, you don't know what he's gonna do due to the fact that he's been out for so long, right? And the fact that he's been out for so long, it brings more eyes on him because he left Kenny Omega high and dry for so many months, obviously because of the corona pandemic, but he could use that to his advantage to bring up his heel persona even more. So that's why I think because of that he will costly bring down the Elite and will make the Inner Circle get the W.
But don't you think that's a little too easy though? I mean, everyone at this point is expecting Page to turn. I just think him being out of TV for as long as he has been off, it really makes no sense to pull the plug because there's no build up to that. You need to build up to that, and quite frankly, you'd be throwing all of those months that you've worked for away, you know.
I just don't see Chris, like the Inner Circle, fucking with the Elite for so long just to win this. Like, that's such an easy pick. Like, the Inner Circle is such an easy pick. Like, I feel like with the Elite, like, this is literally the Elite. Regardless of whatever issues they have going on, they're all, like, they're Elite. So, like, it doesn't, I feel like for them to get the W, like, it just makes sense in this only because it still kind of, like, keeps them on their level because for months now, we've been seeing the Elite kind of just, like, you know, putting people over. And I think this is their time just to kind of, like, be like, we're going to stand our ground, we're going to win this, especially because, like, you got Matt Hardy now. Like, I feel like this is kind of, like, their thing of building their group. And at the end, Hangman Page can always still like say like just because I did this doesn't mean we're cool. Like it still doesn't mean that we're cool. Like they could still do their own thing and still keep that intact.
I mean, but the Elite hasn't really been there for months. It was only Omega that's been holding it down, and obviously Matt Hardy just got into the mix. So I'm not really counting Matt Hardy, but it's just been Omega that's been holding it down for weeks. And
not really counting Matt Hardy.
No, because I'm saying like I'm saying like he just got into the Elite, so I'm not really.
So?
I'm not. So Kenny Omega's been like the only one, the true Elite member that's been really holding it down.
So hold up. How's
point?
that detrimental? How's that detrimental to their the chances of them winning or losing?
No, I said because of Hangman Page.
I mean,
I said because.
But then again, we've seen Hangman Page, do his This is nothing new. This is nothing like you knew he was gonna do that shit. But when
I feel like if anything,
time,
yeah, you could continue. I was gonna say, I feel like if anything, just to fuck with us even more, at the end of it all, he's probably gonna be like, all right, I accept your apology. I feel like it's gonna be something I feel like the Elite does some weird shit like that, but it's weird, unpredictable shit where you're just kind of just nah, it's good, or it's weird. They've had beef, even with the whole they had this whole Cody and Kenny Omega beef that was happening, and at the end of it all, Cody's I missed Kenny so much, and just gave him an apology. It's they do weird shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up making up, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Hangman at the end was just oh, I'm still not cool with you, and I want to fight you, but I don't think it's gonna be he's gonna join the Inner Circle. I think that's way too predictable. And
No, we're not saying he's joining. I just don't. We just think he's gonna fuck over the Elite and just do his own thing. We're not saying he's going to join the Inner Circle.
Right, but understand what you're saying though. You're saying that he's going to throw away, his tag titles. You're saying what kind of sense is that? It makes no sense, man. He has everything to lose if he does that.
But the thing is, we'll do the Hangman Page the way that he is. He's not going to really care. I don't think he's really going to care of losing the
about
tag
a title.
The tag titles.
Of course he cares. What makes you think he doesn't care about titles? You saw what happened to him after he lost to Chris Jericho. He was a shell of himself.
His beef is with Matt and Nick Jackson. It's not really with Kenny Omega. The only thing that he's mad about is that he's still friends with him. No, the only thing that he's mad about is that he's still friends. I don't think that it's not going to be something where he doesn't show up or he's going to screw them over. I think that is just too. It doesn't make sense, and I feel like that's not the time or place for that storyline. It's a good tease leading up for that storyline, but I don't think that's going to be the storyline because we're in a storyline already.
But let me say one thing before you get in here, because I know you gotta talk. No matter, Ricardo, this is for you. No matter how much Hangman might hate some of the guys on the Elite, he hates the Inner Circle even more. He does.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And that's pretty much where my argument comes in.
Okay.
Yeah. I have the Elite to win because while I do think that Inner Circle are the best things going on in pro wrestling, bar none, they have had the upper hand over members of the Elite a handful of times over the past few months. So I think they'll be throwing the bone to the Elite this time for them to have some momentum coming out of this pay-per-view event and into their weekly shows. Of course, would I be surprised or even upset if Inner Circle were to win? I wouldn't be, honestly, because I could also see Hangman Page in some form or fashion costing his team the W due to the pure frustration that he's built towards them. So I really can't say that you're going wrong with either result, but I do think the Elite will be prevailing in the end. So that was that, but before we sign off here, we're just going to go over with some other matches that are going to be taking place tonight at the events that we haven't really had a chance to go over just yet because it really didn't factor into Dynamite this week. So on the buy-in, we have Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Ricardo's boy Mark Quinn against
my
Best
boys.
Friends.
They're my boys.
They'll be going up against best friends Chuck Taylor and Trent in a number one contenders match for the AEW Tag Team Championships.
But they're gonna lose against their friends, though. I'm sorry.
What? How you say?
I'm sorry. I love Private Party.
He's
but
right.
They're
He's
gonna
right.
lose against best friends.
Listen,
I'm
best
sorry,
friends
man.
have been on a tier. I'm sorry, Abba, but I feel like we need to get this shit going.
All right, cool.
Best friends are winning just for the mere fact that they have the momentum on their side.
Yeah,
I
best
agree.
friends are winning. I love Private Party, but best friends are winning. They got the W.
Yeah, Private Party has been pretty MIA in terms of like storylines or any in-ring action. So I think the best friends have the momentum big time. So I think they're going to get the win as well.
And Mark better not text me after he loses.
Well, you can text him. That's why you got your ass beat when he loses.
Oh, I will. I'm gonna let him know.
Oh man, we have Shawn Spears against Dustin Rhodes. This is a last-minute addition to the card after Spears called out Dustin on this past week's Dynamite. In that segment, he brought up the. Hey, you just gotta get that in there, huh?
I'm sorry, man. I could care less about the buy-in, man. We really need to waste time talking about the
actual
buy-in,
show.
bro.
Well, this isn't even the buy-in.
There's only one match in the buy-in, just one. That's it.
Oh,
That
there's
should
only
be
one.
on the buy-in.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
all right. So this match, we don't really need to waste time talking about it. We can just go through and say who our winners and losers are.
All right, I got Shawn Spears to win.
Sean.
Sarah, you gonna answer?
Oh, sorry, Shawn Spears.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know.
Oh man.
You heard that brief second pause that she had? That pause alone validates why it's not that. It's about the lack of match that we care about.
It should be on the buy-in. I'm sorry. We need to switch that. The tag match should be on the show, but yeah.
Yeah, but that'll do it for the rest of the card, and we'll wrap it up there for episode 19 of Wrestling Hypothesis. Thank you guys for listening as always, and for checking out the show. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel as we'll be posting our Double or Nothing review sometime tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you guys go on and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on that. Until then, have a good one, guys. Enjoy the show tonight.
Take care.
Later.